Check out my style, I fall from a lane, girl, watch me put it down, baby. She on the road, kick it around in my coupe, me and you just cruising through the town lately. Ask you some questions, girl, do you mind? What will it take to make you mine, please? Tell me be you and we can try. So I spit true, I change the whole theme. Check out my style, I fall from a lane, girl, watch me put it down, baby. She on the road, kick it around in my coupe, me and you just cruising through the town lately. Ask you some questions, girl, do you mind? What will it take to make you mine, please? Tell me be you and we can try. So I spit true, I change the whole theme. No, I ain't giving up. I made an oath, I ain't giving up. Whoa, we on the phone getting spiritual. Then I remix the flow, getting in the Check out my style, I fall from my lane, girl, watch me put it down, baby. She on the road, kick it around in my coupe, me and you just cruising through the town lately. Ask me some questions, girl, do you mind? What would it take to make you mine, please? Tell me be you and we can try. So I spit true, I change the whole thing. Check out my style, I fall from my lane, girl, just watch me put it down, baby. She on the road, kick it around in my coupe, me and you, we just cruising through the town lately. Ask me some questions, girl, do you mind? What would it take to make you mine, please? Tell me be you and we can try. So I spit true, I change the whole thing. Check out my style, I'm far from my lane, girl, just let me put it down, baby. She on the road, kick it around in my coupe, me and you, we just cruising through the town lately. Ask me some questions, girl, do you mind? What would it take to make you mine, please? Tell me be you and we can try. So I spit true, I change the whole thing. No, I ain't giving up. No, I made an oath, I ain't giving up. Hey, we on the phone getting spiritual, and I remix the flow, getting in the air. Check out my style, I'm far from my lane, girl, just watch me put it down, baby. She on the road, can get around in my coupe, me and you, we just cruising through the town lately. Ask me some questions, girl, do you mind? What would it take to make you mine, please? Tell me be you and we can try. So I spit true, I taste the whole thing. No, I ain't giving up. Hey, I made an oath, I ain't giving up. Whoa, we on the phone getting spiritual, and then I remix the flow, getting in the
According to God, the white man is the devil.
You see, I've been in here for a little minute. You know what I'm saying? And I see niggas, they like to talk a lot, they like to claim leadership, they like to claim this and that. You know what I'm saying? They like to be above what they really is and have authority. But they don't really need that authority, they don't really know what to do with that leadership. You understand? You hold hands with this white ass, need to stop and ask you to give a damn what you talk about. Don't give a fuck what you believe, nigga. Gotta stand up and serve my God. We don't pray on our knees, nigga. Yeah. Everybody ain't with all that peace talk, everybody ain't with all that let bygone be. Boy, ask you to stop it, ask you to prop. It's about to get serious. When they hit us with dope and kill us with crack, where the fuck with your leaders, I'm curious. He cashed out on your blood, traded you in and bought a new biz. Ask you the prophets, I tell you the scheme. If you don't wake up, you gon' die in your dreams. I tell you once, won't tell you no more. I swear these crackers try to kill us slow. Just spoke to a nigga and fed he up for parole. Because of the COVID, it feel like the hoes in this world that don't go together. Know it's gold in the ghetto. I'm in the city blazing with my niggas. Just told the devil the score never settle. Yeah, see the prophets. I'm tired of these niggas keep talking about, you know, you respect my religion, I respect your religion. Boy, your ass need to stop it, ass need the props. You know, like we all come together. Cause you know what I'm saying? They say God so loved the world. God so loved the world and know. Boy, your ass need to stop it, ass need the props. Don't give a damn what you talk about. Don't give a fuck what you believe, nigga. Gotta stand up to serve my God. We don't pray on our knees, nigga. Yeah. Hey, Jeremiah, we don't pray on our knees, nigga. Gotta stand up. You know what I'm saying? Boy, your ass need to stop it, ass shit. Oh, I'm with step, I'm solid for show. For the fake niggas, stay silent, I got it, let's go, let's go. I ain't taking no loss, ain't no talking when we got the flow. Ain't no peace, just play with your own. I'ma be loyal to the right arm. Tell him we can't keep me slave. And I can never let bygone be bygone. Got your baby mother on high, got your baby pants through the fire. Ain't she the prophets? That baby soul belong to the Lord. How dare you abort it? Therefore will fail you, bitch, I can afford it. I prepare slaughter, you bring me my water. Push your leaders weak, let them lies slip through their teeth. Their ass need to stop it, ass she the prophets.
That's just the reality, Christians. I'm sorry to hurt your feelings. I know your pastor lied to you every Sunday for 30 years, but that's what the church is for, lying. That's why they exist, to lie the money out of your pockets.
Boy, your ass need to stop it, ass shit. Give a damn what you talk about. Don't give a fuck what you believe, nigga. Gotta stand up to serve my God. We'll pray on our knees, nigga. We'll pray on our knees, nigga. Gotta stand up to serve my God. We'll pray on our knees, nigga.
Shalom, shalom, Canada. Shalom, Akim. Shalom, Akim meaning brothers. Brothers are the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel, people who identify themselves today to be Black, Hispanic, or Native American Indian. We say Shalom, Yahweh Shem Yahshabrakatham. And to the sisters, the Akwathium. All right, Akwathium in the Hebrew is sisters. All right, we say Yahweh Shamar Alathah Bashem Yahushai. All right, we say Yahweh Shamar Alathah Bashem Yahushai. All right, which means may the Most High watch over you, sisters, in the name of who the world calls Christ. I'm Priest and Officer Shari Wan under Commanding General Yahanna. We are the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, which started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. All right. We've been teaching the truth of the Bible since 1969, teaching the doctrine that our ancestors gave us, the doctrine that the men above us passed down to us, the doctrine that Christ revealed to his servants, the prophets, who are back here on earth. Okay, we are back here on earth to teach Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans the truth of who they are, the truth of the Bible, the truth about God, the truth about life. And what that truth is, we are the greatest people to ever walk the face of the earth. We are the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel, and the Most High has a covenant with us. Covenant meaning contract. We're in agreement with the Most High. The children of Israel, being Black, Hispanic, and Native American, we're people who are very dear to the Most High, people that he loves. We are his children. We are his firstborn, like the scriptures say. You understand? And it's important that we act like that. Okay, it's important that we act like that and we carry ourselves as a people that are above all people on the face of the earth. You understand? You can see Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. You can already see how talented of a people we are, how skillful of a people that we are. The whole world looks up to us and the different things that we can achieve here on this earth. And it's so vitally important that we don't just be the best basketball players and best singers and R&B artists, but that we be a people of morality, a people who can represent our Father well. That's exactly what our King Yahushua, who the world calls Christ, did when he walked this earth. He was a man of morality. He was the greatest Black man to ever walk the face of the earth. Yes, he was a Black man, a brother with woolly hair, a very dark-skinned brother. You know what I mean? Today, maybe look like Wesley Snipes type brother. That is who our King Yahushua, who the world calls Jesus Christ, looked like. And he was a man of morality. He was a man who was about his Father's business. He was a man who kept all the laws, statutes, and commandments, and the world is still speaking about him 2,000 years later. Speaking about how amazing that this brother was. How amazing of a representation of a man that we can look up to, of a man that we can follow. You understand? Even in the Christian church and Catholics, they love to say, what would Jesus do? Because that is the impact that this brother left on this earth. And what did that brother do? He kept all the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. He kept that contract that the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel are supposed to keep. He kept all the laws, statutes, and commandments. That's what every brother, what every Black, Hispanic, and Native American man, woman, and child is supposed to be keeping. And Christ did it. He was the greatest representation of a person walking this earth. That is who we all need to aspire to be. And that's what the brothers and sisters in the I.S.U.P.K are being trained up to be. We are trained to be just like Christ. We are trained to walk like him, talk like him, act like him, make decisions like him. We are learning to follow all the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Bible and understand the spirit behind those laws, statutes, and commandments. One of those things being is Mother's Day, which is what this class is about. This is Monday night history class. Okay, Monday night history class every Monday night from 5 till 7 p.m. We're going to be going live and teaching our people how to be like Christ, how to be like our ancestors that we read about in the Bible. That Bible is our history book. It's a history book of the children of Israel. Christ was a brother from the tribe of Judah, a black man from the tribe of Judah. And something that he never did is celebrate Mother's Day. Mother's Day is not in the Bible. He did not celebrate it. He didn't keep it as a feast day. He didn't keep it as a holiday or a high holy day. Christ did not celebrate Mother's Day. Christ didn't need one day per year to celebrate his mother. Christ honored his father and his mother by keeping the laws, statutes, and commandments of God. Christ honored Joseph. He honored Mary by being a brother of integrity. You understand? By doing all the things that God tells him to do. He never lied to his mother. He never stole from his mother. You understand? He didn't hide things from his mother. He was a brother of integrity. You understand? He didn't go out and deal drugs to people. He wasn't a drug addict. He wasn't an alcoholic. Christ kept the laws of God. That is the greatest thing that a mother could ever ask for. All right. And so this holiday that people were just celebrating yesterday, this holiday called Mother's Day, is something that Christ never did. And he is the greatest representation of a man ever walking this earth. That's who we all need to aspire to be. And there's a reason Christ didn't celebrate Mother's Day. There's a reason that Christ kept the Passover. There's a reason that he kept the Feast of Tabernacles and the Feast of First Fruits. There's a reason why he didn't celebrate his birthday. Because these things go against God. This is not what the Most High wants people to be doing here on earth. And there is a reason for all of it. Right? It says in the book of Ecclesiasticus that the worshiping of idols is the cause, the beginning, and the end of all evil. And so we need to be very mindful of the things that we worship. We need to be very mindful of the things that we give our attention to and our worship to. You understand? And when you look on this earth, it's very easy to see why worshiping of idols is so evil. Why people who celebrate their birthdays is so evil. When you look at Christianity, Christianity is the house of pedophilia. You understand? You see what all those Catholic priests are doing to those young children. You know, they damn near shut down all the Catholic churches in Montreal because of all the touching of little boys inside the Catholic Church. That is what a false idol will lead you to do. Every Christian pastor is telling you the laws of God are done away with, that you don't have to keep the laws of God. Well, what does that mean? That means it's okay to be a drug dealer. It's okay to sell drugs to little children. It's okay to be a grown woman and twerk on your child. It's okay to be a mother and tell your children it's okay to twerk on your birthday. Christianity will absolutely allow you to do all these things. You can be an alcoholic and beat your wife, and the Christian church will welcome you with open arms. That is what the worshiping of idols creates. When you look in the prison systems, everybody inside that prison damn near has what do they call it? That cross, that Jesus cross tattooed on their body. Because the people who fill the prison cells are Christian. People who fill the prison cells are Muslim. I think there's let me look up that number really quick. How many, Google this really quick. How many Christians are in the world? 2024. This is a quick Google search. It says as of 2024, there are 2.6 billion Christians worldwide. 2.6 billion. Let's look up Muslims. How many Muslims are in the world? When I look up this, it says this is a Muslim population by country in 2024. In Indonesia, there's 230 million Muslims. In Pakistan, you have 200 million Muslims. Bangladesh has 153 million Muslims. Nigeria has 104.7 million Muslims. Egypt has 90 million Muslims. Okay, and so on and so forth. This entire earth is populated by the worshiping of idols. It's populated by a people who follow religion. They follow Christianity and they worship some white Jesus. They follow Islam and they worship Allah. They worship some rock over in Mecca. You understand? They worship idols. They don't follow the God of the Bible. They don't simply keep the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Bible. You understand? And even those Europeans who claim to be the real Israelites, they're over there practicing what they call to be Judaism. What do they do on the Sabbath? They believe that the Sabbath is holy and that they're not allowed to do any rest on the Sabbath. So what do? They'll tell their black co-worker to turn the lights on and off for me. They'll tell their the black people that work for them to open the elevator doors and press the buttons on the elevators for them because they're not allowed to do any work. They'll tell other nations of people to cook for them and do work on the Sabbath. So I guess morality only applies to the people who are of the book, according to Judaism. When you read through the Bible, you'll see that God says killing is wrong. Unaliving somebody is wrong. Stealing is wrong. Bearing false witness is wrong. And that is not just wrong for the children of Israel. That's wrong for all people. All people need to learn from the children of Israel how they are to act and behave on this earth, how they should carry themselves. In Deuteronomy, it says that if we would keep the laws of God, that these other nations would look at us as a wise and understanding people. Because the way that we live, the way that we carry ourselves is a good way of living. And other nations, if they were wise, they would follow that example. They would follow the example of what Christ set out. They would follow the example of the great brothers and sisters that are spoken about in the Bible, because it is a very good way of life. I saw an article today where it said there was a brother in the States who had he just had a surgery for the first kidney transplant, and they transplanted it, or they took it out of a pig. They took that transplant out of the pig, and the brother died. It says in the Bible that swine is an abomination. It's not something you're supposed to consume. People are going out here eating pork ribs and bacon and all the ham and stuff in the world, when God said that this thing is not for you to eat. You shouldn't consume it like this. It's bad for you. It's harmful for you. But the European way of life, all throughout the earth, they would have you disobeying the laws of God. They'll tell you it's okay to be a member of an alternative lifestyle. It's okay for a man to lay down with a man, regardless of how that affects his body, regardless of the different sexually transmitted disease he is going to contract. regardless of all the painkillers he's going to have to live with taking because of the things that he's performing with another man. The adult diapers that he's going to be wearing for the rest of his life because he can't keep anything from going out of his stool. The way of life of these other nations is disgusting. The way of life of these other nations is not something that we should be following. And that includes Mother's Day. Anything that is outside of the Bible, people need to throw away in the trash. You can just look at how society is today, and you can decide for yourself if you think society is going in a good direction or a bad direction. You think it's okay for mothers to twerk on their children. It's okay for mothers to allow their children and kids to twerk out in the public. You think you're okay with that, then keep on going with your life. But if you're tired of the things that are going on in this society, maybe it's time you change your life. Maybe it's time that you gain a new perspective. Maybe you're tired of all the chaos and drama that's going in your family. And maybe you want to choose for the first time to live a different way of life. Maybe you want to humble yourself down and say, maybe the things I've been doing are not helping my life. I see divorce rates going up. I see more brothers being incarcerated. I see more death, more famine. I see this world going to hell in a handbag, like they say. The world is falling apart, and I've decided for myself that I want no part in it. Like it says in the Bible, as for me and my house, we are going to serve the Lord. We're going to be men and women of integrity. We're going to speak to each other in a certain way. We're going to obey the laws of God. I'm not going to divorce my wife. I'm going to be loyal. I'm going to be consistent in my family's life. Give them some stability. Give them morals. Teach them not to cut people off in their speech. Teach them to have discipline, how to sit down and be quiet, so that when they go out in the earth, that they can be tolerable. Other people can tolerate them and appreciate their discipline, how well-mannered and how well they act out in society. The Bible says, train up a child in the way they should go. My children do not celebrate their birthdays. They never have, they never will. They don't celebrate Mother's Day. They don't celebrate Father's Day. They don't celebrate Easter. They don't do things outside of the Bible. And we'll see what type of children that they turn out to be. We'll see what kind of members of society they turn out to be. Because I definitely see some other children. I definitely see some other monsters. And they've been celebrating their birthday every single year. I see how spoiled some of those children are. They think that the whole earth is owed to them. They think every toy known to man is owed to them. When really those little monsters don't deserve anything. They don't deserve a Christmas gift. I've seen all the different ways that they act and carry themselves. And then one day out of the year, all of a sudden, we're just going to forget how they acted the day before. And these are some of the things that people do come Mother's Day, come Father's Day, come birthdays, where they think that this one day is the most important day in the world. They think this one day we're just going to show all the appreciation in the world to our mothers, regardless of if they deserve it or not. This is the day that she's going to be pampered, regardless of whether she deserves it or not. That's what this society would have you teach to your children. This is what society would have you believe as a young adult, as a young man, as a young sister, a young woman, as you're beginning to formulate how you're going to live in your adult years, things you're going to celebrate. And so in this class again every Monday night from 5 till 7. This specific class is a history class. Okay, and for this topic itself, I'm going to give a brief history of where Mother's Day comes from. All right, we'll read a quick article on that, and then we'll get into some scriptures, and we'll get into some other news going on in this earth. All right, so I'm going to share my screen really quick. Shout out to the people in the chat. Shalom, Janice Bell. Yahweh Shemar Bashimi Al-Shai. Shalom to Princess Noah. Yahweh Shemar Bashimi Al-Shai. The water for tuning in. All right, I'm going to share a quick article so that we can get a quick rundown on where Mother's Day originated from. All right. Let me make that a full screen. So this is from Britannica. This is an article from Britannica.com. Okay, we're going to give a brief history, nothing too in-depth, but just a brief history of Mother's Day. Okay, so brothers and sisters can know what it is they're celebrating and where this comes from. Okay, this is an article from Britannica. It says Mother's Day, a holiday in honor of mothers that is celebrated in countries throughout the world. Right now, right off the rip, it says a holiday. And that word holiday comes from the Bible, which means holy day. Okay, there are holy days that we read about in the Bible, and Mother's Day is not in it. In the Bible, you can read through Leviticus chapter 23, and you will see all the holy days of the Most High. And holy means set apart. Understand? So a set apart day. Those are found in the Bible. And society has taken this idea and they've damn near bastardized the meaning of a holy day. They bastardize it. They've spit on the face of in the Bible. They do things like call Mother's Day holy, like it's set apart or it's special. And this is nowhere in the Bible. Okay, it says a holiday in honor of mothers that is celebrated in countries throughout the world. In its modern form, the holiday originated in the United States, where it is observed on the second Sunday in May. Many other countries also celebrate the holiday on this date, while some mark the observance at other times of the year. During the Middle Ages, the custom developed of allowing those who had moved away to visit their home, parishes, and their mothers on Later Sunday, the fourth Sunday of Lent. This became Mothering Sunday in Britain, where it continued into modern times, although it has largely been replaced by Mother's Day. Okay, so that's a brief history. We're going to keep going. It says, right, and as we read, it said that Mother's Day originated in the United States. Okay. It says, Anna Jarvis of Philadelphia. Okay, we'll read through this part and then we'll close this. All right, just to get a brief understanding. It says, Anna Jarvis of Philadelphia, whose mother had organized women's groups to promote friendship and health, originated Mother's Day. Okay, so this is a woman named Anna Jarvis, who I can guarantee 95% of the population has no idea who this woman is. Okay. 1 second. Right, it says 95% of the population, I guarantee, has no idea who this woman is. Okay. This is Anna Jarvis of Philadelphia. It says on May 12th of 1907, she held a memorial service at her late mother's church in Grafton, West Virginia. Within 5 years, virtually every state was observing the day. And in 1914, U.S. Press Woodrow Wilson made it a national holiday. Although Jarvis had promoted the wearing of a white carnation as a tribute to one's mother, the custom developed of wearing a red or pink carnation to represent a living mother, or a white carnation for a mother who was deceased. It says, over time, the day has expanded to include others, such as grandmothers and aunts, who played mothering roles. What had originally been primarily a day of honor became associated with the sending of cards and the giving of gifts. However, and in protest against its commercialization, Jarvis spent the last years of her life trying to abolish the holiday she had brought into being. Okay, we're going to close that. 1 second. Having technical difficulties with my camera. 1 second. Okay, we're back. And so that is a quick history of the origins of Mother's Day. Okay, it started by a woman named Anna Jarvis in Philadelphia. Okay, her celebration per se of her mother had to do with her mother's death, and so she wanted to honor her mother. She came up with some customs, regarding white flowers and so on and so forth. And this is where the origins of Mother's Day comes in the United States. Okay, which I thought was interesting too, is that near the ending of her life, she's trying to abolish the holiday. She doesn't even want people to celebrate it. That is what people were just celebrating yesterday. Okay, another shout out to the chat. Shalom, Kapah, Banath, Yahawada. Yahweh Shemar, Athar Bashim Ashai. Water for tuning in, sis. Okay, and so this is what this woman, Anna Jarvis, was doing in the later parts of her life. Okay, this is Mother's Day, it's origins, and this is what you are celebrating. This is what people just celebrated yesterday. Okay, and so I got another screen, or I got another article we're going to quickly share just to get the history of this out of the way, and so people can understand where this came from. Okay, and again, we are I.S.U.P.K Canada, and we're specifically, our school is more based towards brothers and sisters who are in Canada. Okay, we're going to give you the history of Canada, and this is a brief history of how Mother's Day came to Canada. Okay, so during that time, when Anna Jarvis is right and has this little celebration and get together with a few women in her church, or a few people in her church, it becomes a popular topic amongst people. And we saw Woodrow Wilson, who tries to make it, or who does make it, a national holiday. And as he does this, Canada being right beside the United States, looking at what they're doing in their culture, this also, you could say, sparks Canadian interest, Canadian mothers, Canadian women. And so this is a brief history on Mother's Day in Canada. Okay, this article says the history of Mother's Day in Canada. It says, and how to celebrate / observe it. It says, in Canada, let me make this a little bigger. So if you want to read along, it says, in Canada, Mother's Day is celebrated on the second Sunday in May. It is a day to honor mothers and mother figures, such as grandmothers, stepmothers, foster mothers, and adoptive mothers. On Mother's Day, people often give their mothers flowers, cards, and gifts. They might also take their mothers out for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Some people spend time with their mothers doing activities that they enjoy, such as going for a walk, playing golf, or going to a spa. Mother's Day is a relatively new holiday in Canada. It was first celebrated in 1908 when Annie Webb Blaine, a mother of 12 from St. Thomas, Ontario, organized an event to honor mothers. The event was so successful that it became an annual tradition. In 1914, the Canadian government declared Mother's Day a national holiday. All right. And so that is the brief and quick history of Mother's Day inside of Canada. Okay. You have a woman in St. Thomas, Ontario, who looked at what Anna Jarvis was doing, and she looked at the movement going on down in the United States. She hosts an event. It's a great success. And then by 1914, the Canadian government declares it a national holiday. And this is what people just celebrated yesterday. They just celebrated this national holiday. Now, something I think interesting is that when I became a young man and I was just looking at the different days that people celebrate or that people think are special. They look at Father's Day, Mother's Day, Christmas, Easter, all the different things that they grew up celebrating. And as a young man, I remember thinking, now that I'm older, I'm out of my parents' house, what value do these holidays have to me? I don't know if everybody goes through that. That's just something that I went through as a young man, looking at Thanksgiving and Christmas and all these different days of the year that people deem to be special days. And I never understood the point of any of it. I never saw the value of birthdays. I never cared to celebrate my birthday. I never saw the value in Thanksgiving. I never saw the value of Easter. I never understood why people celebrated Christmas the way they did. These were things as a young man that I just came to a conclusion on my own. And I think it's an interesting question for a lot of people to ask themselves is, why are you doing these things? Why are you celebrating Mother's Day? Why are you celebrating Father's Day? What does this mean to you? And maybe that just has to do with my personality. Not really, I was never a person to really, I guess you could say, be fake. I never cared to involve myself in things that I didn't think were important. And then as I get older, I later find out, joining the I.S.U.P.K and learning to follow the Bible and keep the laws of the Bible, I then later understand that these holidays have no value. It validated the way I was thinking in the world, because in the world I deemed it foolish. And then as I understand the truth of the Bible and the truth of life, it made things even more crystal clear. It helped me understand how detrimental that certain of these holidays are. How important it is not to lie to your kids and tell them things like bunnies lay eggs. This is what they do when they celebrate Easter. And put these weird lies in their children's head and how it truly affects them. And so let's get this verse really quick in the Bible. This is one of my favorite verses. because this is something that the Bible says about these holidays. We're going to go to Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14. All right, I'm just pulling it up on my screen. Okay, this is the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14 and verse 27. This is right out of the Bible. And it says, "For the worshiping of idols not to be named is the beginning, the cause, and the end of all evil." What does that mean? It means that all the evil that is here on this earth is because of the worshiping of idols. It's because of the worship of false gods. It's because of the worship of false religions. When you look at people who celebrate their birthday every day, they are worshiping themselves. They are worshiping themselves as a god. The Bible says that you shall have no other gods before the Most High. You're not allowed to celebrate your birthday. You look at the number one holiday for all Satanists, it is their birthday. Because they believe that worshiping themselves and putting themselves above all things is one of the most important things on this earth. It's like the number one rule of being a Satanist. They push your birthday so hard. It is so important and so valuable to being a Satanist that they need to worship themselves. They need to put themselves as a god, as an idol, something of extreme importance. When God said not to worship idols, not to worship false gods, because these things hold no power. They're vain. It's vanity to put your worship into these things. It's vain to put yourself up as a god and have people worship you. When you look at the day of a birthday, everything is about me. Me. Everything is about me and what people can give me and get for me. You don't buy your woman a gift on her birthday, she's leaving you. You don't buy your woman a gift on Valentine's Day, she is leaving you. It promotes the worship of yourself. It's no different from Mother's Day. This day is all about me. And you're not going to find that anywhere in the Bible. One of the greatest things that Christ did when he came and walked this earth, he came to serve, not to be served. The I.S.U.P.K, you get in this school, you start celebrating the feast days of the Lord, the high holy days, the holy days of the Lord. One of the things you're going to celebrate is a Passover. Passover is damn near the most important holy day in the Bible. Passover is such an extremely important feast day of the Lord. There's so many things that you can learn from celebrating the Passover. So many things that you can be reminded of as you celebrate the Passover. There are so many people that you can serve and that you are going to serve when you celebrate the Passover. It's not about the worship of yourself. Passover is not about you. Passover is not about what you can get and what people owe you, but how you serve your nation, how you serve your people. And that's something that Christ taught us to do. He said, I came to serve, not to be served. That's an extremely valuable characteristic or character trait that you can learn and that you should teach your children. When you have children and they're first born into the world, it's just a natural thing that everything is about them. They're so reliant on their mother. They're reliant on their father for survival. They need their mother's milk. They need somebody to feed them and bathe them and clothe them, keep them warm and keep them safe. That's a natural thing for a baby, for a child. And then one day, they're going to be able to put their own clothes on. One day, they'll be able to brush their own teeth. One day, they'll be able to cook their own food and feed themselves. And you have to teach that child that the world is not just about them. You have to teach that child not to be selfish, but to be selfless. Teach that child everything doesn't revolve around them. That is a valuable characteristic that we need to teach our children. The Bible says, train up a child in the way they should go. That is something, that is a valuable characteristic, a character trait that you can teach a child. That everything is not about them. And what do you think you're teaching your child when every year you teach them to celebrate their birthday? What do you think you're teaching your child when they have this day to themselves where they can be glorified? This day to themselves where they are more important than everybody else on earth. And it's crazy to think, because that day of that birthday that a child has, they love to believe that everything is about them. When really 50 other million people on earth have the same birthday as them. You would think that birthday, that it's just their day and solely theirs. There are 50 million other people celebrating it with them. Whose birthday is more important? I wonder how two people with the same birthday get along that day. Point is, a lot of these holidays that we're taught to celebrate and we're taught to worship and we're taught to practice, they're teaching our children to act like little monsters. The Bible goes as far to say that the worshiping of idols, not to be named, is the beginning, the cause, and the end of all evil. Your child is going to grow up to be a drug dealer because he celebrates his birthday every year. What are we teaching our mothers when we celebrate Mother's Day every year? And everything is supposed to be about them. Like I said, the greatest holiday in the Bible, that's a day where you serve other people. It's a day of service, serving your nation. How can you protect and look after your nation? Feed the women and the children, to make sure everybody's taken care of. That is what the Passover is about. Imagine if we taught our children the most important thing on earth is what you do for other people, rather than what other people do for you. It says, for the worshiping of idols not to be named as the beginning, the cause, and the end of all evil. The Bible is saying, stay away from Mother's Day. Stay away from the worshiping of yourself. Don't do that. You understand? This is what the Bible is saying. This is why Christ didn't celebrate Mother's Day. This is why all the honorable men and sisters of the Bible, they did not celebrate Mother's Day. Right? Let's get into what the Bible does say. We're going to go through some verses and just break down Mother's Day really quick. Let's go to, let me share my screen. We can stay in the Bible. Let's go to the book of Matthew. Let's go to the book of Colossians chapter 2 and verse 8. Okay, Colossians chapter 2 and verse 8 says, "Beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit." Okay, the disciples of Christ, the prophets of God, they're telling brothers and sisters, beware. Beware, be on guard, lest any man spoil you through vain philosophy and vain deceit. These are things that you should beware of. You should beware of vain deceit. You should beware of lies. You should beware of things that are just unimportant. You should beware of philosophy. Right? You should beware of a group of 10 people who gather together and think up new ways and inventive ways and good ideas on how we can honor our mothers and how we can show appreciation for our mothers. You should stay away from people who philosophize. It says, after the tradition of men. Again, Christ is saying, beware of these things. Beware of the traditions of men. Anna Jarvis and that woman from St. Thomas, Ontario, they are just men. They are women. They are people. They are not God. They didn't create the heaven and the earth. They didn't create the fish. They didn't create people. They didn't create land and water and animals and everything in the earth. They didn't create oxygen and, invent all the things in the earth. We're just people. God says that you shouldn't follow after the traditions of people. Christ said that you shouldn't follow after the traditions of people. Not only should you not follow it, but you should beware. A lot of people think, oh, what's the big deal? I'm just celebrating my birthday. What's the big deal? I'm just going to get my mother some flowers and a card on Mother's Day. The true followers of Christ, they would beware of this thing. They would be on guard when they hear of a person who says, hey, let's come celebrate our mother in this way. The Bible already tells you to honor your mother and your father. And the Bible doesn't say to honor your mother and your father one day out of the year. The Bible says honor your father and your mother every day of the year. Every single day you should honor your mother and your father. And you do that by how you carry yourself. Imagine being a mother of a 15-year-old boy who you tell him, son, you got to be afraid of being a drug dealer. You got to be aware of hanging out with these people and getting yourself involved in these different gangs. You should be aware of these things, my son. And imagine as a mother, if every single day your boy came home and you knew that he was not hanging around these people. He just goes to school and comes home. He does his homework, focusing on getting a post-secondary education. He's not focused on going out and getting drunk and partying and smoking weed and dealing drugs. Your son's not into all those things. Imagine how you could rest that night as a mother, knowing that your son's not out on the streets, knowing that your son's not caught up in some gang violence. You can sleep at night. That's how you honor your mother. It's a very honorable thing to do to your mother. Not to lie to your mother, to be honest with her, to listen to her instructions, to build some trust in who you are as a human being. That's a way that you honor your mother. Getting her a card and a gift one day out of the year is not something that's going to honor your mother. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with doing that, but you do not just need one specific day where the earth has gathered together and decided that this is what we're going to do one day out of the year. Especially if you're a mother who doesn't deserve that gift. There are some horrible mothers out there. There are some horrible people out there, and they do not need to be worshipped. They should not be praised. They need to be sitting inside of a jail cell. And we're going to get into some of those articles as we go through this class. It says, beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit, after the tradition of men, after the rudiments of the world, and not after Christ. Christ did not celebrate Christmas, Easter, Thanksgiving, Mother's Day, Father's Day, birthdays. Christ did not celebrate any of these things. Christ did not celebrate Easter and celebrate Lent and whatever other holiday that man would have you celebrate today, that man would have you believe is something of importance. And I can guarantee you his mother was proud of who he was. His mother took pride in the type of man that she helped raise. Christ honored his mother. And it was not by celebrating Mother's Day. Let's drop that. Let's go to Exodus. Exodus chapter 23. That's not what I want. Exodus chapter 23 and verse 2. It says, thou shalt not follow a multitude to do evil. This is what we need to teach our children. I remember growing up and what was that saying they used to always say? How'd that saying go? Well, I can't even remember it. But basically what teachers used to say to us in school was, don't follow other people. Don't follow what other people are doing. Just because somebody else does it doesn't mean it is doing it, doesn't mean it's right. A lot of our parents would look at us and tell us not to follow all the other children at school. Why? Because parents have rules in their household. And if you're teaching your children one set of rules and another household is teaching their children a different set of rules, or not teaching their children rules at all, you don't want your child to be like them. They have that saying in the school, which I believe it was surrounded around drugs. But they used to always tell us, don't follow other people. Don't be like everybody else. You see somebody smoking weed, doesn't mean you should go and smoke weed. And the Bible is saying the same thing. Do not follow a multitude to do evil. I don't care if 10 people are out doing something. I don't care if there's 100 people that you see doing something that is off. You should not follow those people. You read throughout the Bible, you will see that it's always a very few set of people that are people of integrity. Right? It says in the book of Ecclesiastes something about, I have found one man out of 1,000 that's a man of integrity. But as for women, I have found damn near none. Right? I'm loosely paraphrasing. I'm probably butchering that scripture. But basically what King Solomon is saying is that it's very rare to find a brother who's a brother of integrity. There's not 5 million people who acted just like Christ walking the earth. Very few people who are people of integrity. Very few people who obey God, who keep the laws, statutes, and commandments, and are people that are worth looking up to. So don't follow the multitude. Just because everybody's doing it doesn't mean you should do it. Slacky, I think that's how the saying goes. Just because you see everybody doing it doesn't mean you should do it. The saying goes something like that. But it's such an important thing. You wouldn't believe there's a well, Salakia, to kind of segue into some of the articles I have, there is a group of people, a group of mothers specifically, who are taking their children to what is called drag shows. And these shows are where transgender men, I'm not sure if transgender women are there, but basically these people of this alternative lifestyle are putting on shows, and these are extremely sexualized shows, and it is for little children to watch. It's a place where little children can go and learn about this alternative lifestyle. And they sit there and watch the most disgusting things as a child. They go and they watch adults perform and carry themselves in a very sexualized way and sexualized manner. And it is for little children to watch. And this is a, what would you call it? Like a new phase, or like a new, something that's new, something that's in. It's like this new wave of events or whatever that groups of people are flocking to. And God said that these things are evil. God said in Deuteronomy that a man should not put on a woman's attire, and a woman should not wear that which pertaineth to a man. That's what the Bible says. But these people are starting to go out and do these things. And God is saying, don't follow the multitude. Don't follow a multitude to do evil. I don't care if the whole earth is doing it. You should not do it. and understand who God and the Most High is. Most High had no problem flooding the entire earth. The Most High had no problem flooding 6 billion people and just left Noah and his wife and his kids to live. Do not follow a multitude to do evil. You understand? And so when the Canadian government declares Mother's Day as a national holiday, who cares? Specifically, if you're Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indian, you are an Israelite according to the Bible. And this covenant is for you. And Moses was sitting here writing this. He was writing to the children of Israel. He was writing to Blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. He was telling you, I don't care what the other nations are doing. I don't care what the Egyptians are doing. I don't care what these different Hamitic people are doing. Who cares what the other nations are doing? Don't follow a multitude to do evil. And the worshiping of gods is evil. The worshiping of idols is evil. Moses said, don't do these things. You go to the book of Amos. So the book of Amos, chapter 5, I believe, verse 21. The Lord said, I despise your feast days, and I will not smell in your solemn assemblies. The Lord is saying, I despise your feast days. I hate Christmas. I hate Easter. I hate Mother's Day. I hate Father's Day. I hate Easter. I hate Thanksgiving. I hate Valentine's Day. The Lord hates these days. He hates our feast days. He says, and I will not smell in your solemn assemblies. All you Christians out there thinking you're doing a good thing on Mother's Day, your pastor's probably up there telling you why you should get your mother a gift on Mother's Day, why you should celebrate your mothers on Mother's Day. This is your pastor. Your pastor is supposed to be a representation of God is. Your pastor is supposed to be somebody who is speaking the words of God, who's raising up God's flock and raising up God's children and protecting people and looking after the flock and making sure that they're doing the things that the Most High approves of. Meanwhile, it's in the same Bible that your pastor's reading from. God says, I despise your feast days. And I will not smell in your solemn assemblies. I will not be with you when you celebrate Mother's Day. The Lord is not there. The Lord is not in that. The Lord is not with you celebrating Mother's Day. He hates Mother's Day. You think it's something small when the Lord despises these different holidays that we celebrate. Why would you do something that the Lord has such a disdain for, such a dislike for? Why would your pastor tell you to celebrate something that the Lord is against? Why? Because Christianity is the worshiping of idols. Christianity is the house of Satan. Christianity is antichrist. Christ did not celebrate Mother's Day. But your pastor would have you celebrate Mother's Day. The whole world would tell you that Mother's Day is such a beautiful day, when the Lord hates it. When you go to Leviticus chapter 23, you'll see what days that the Lord is with. It says in verse 2, speak unto the children of Israel and say unto them concerning the feasts of the Lord. When you read through Leviticus chapter 23, you see what feasts are of the Lord. And you are not going to read Mother's Day in the book of Leviticus chapter 23. You're going to read about the Lord's Passover. You're going to read about the Feast of Unleavened Bread, the Feast of First Fruits, the Day of Atonement, the Feast of Tabernacles, the Sabbath Day. These are the feasts of the Lord. Mother's Day is not a feast of the Lord. Mother's Day is a day that the Lord hates. It is a day that the Lord is against. The Lord will not smell in our solemn assemblies. Doesn't matter how many people gather together. You think 500 Christians gathering together for Mother's Day, you would think that the Lord is there. Those Christians are probably saying, where 2 or 3 are gathered together, that the Lord is with us. And they think they're doing some beautiful thing on Mother's Day, saying, hum dibbly hum hum, hallelujah, Jesus. Our mothers are so beautiful and wonderful. And the Lord hates that day. The Lord is not with that. The Lord is with the Passover and all the different feasts that are in Leviticus chapter 23. Right? Let's go to the book of Proverbs chapter 24. Proverbs chapter 24 and verse 1. Proverbs chapter 24 and verse 1 says, be not thou envious against evil men. It's an evil thing to celebrate Mother's Day. There's a lot of people out there. There's probably a lot of women out there who, you might be coming into the truth and learning that Mother's Day is against God. Mother's Day is anti-Christ. But the Lord hates Mother's Day. The Lord hates the worshiping of idols and the worshiping of yourself. Learning to be selfish and that the world is about you. And you start to learn those things. It's important to understand not to be envious against evil men. What is evil in the Bible? Evil are things that go against God. God tells you not to be a murderer, and you go out and perform those acts. Those things are evil. When the Lord tells you not to eat pork, shrimp, crab, or lobster, and you go out and eat a red lobster, whatever lobster tail they have, that is evil. That is what evil is in the Bible. When you celebrate Christmas, Thanksgiving, and Valentine's Day and Mother's Day, that is evil. These days are not the days of the Lord. They are not the feasts of the Lord. The Most High does not want you doing these things. Don't look at what other people are doing and be envious of what they're doing. Don't be a mother. Don't be a 30-year-old black sister looking at what your cousin or your mother is getting on Mother's Day. Don't look at that day and say, oh, I wish somebody would get me flowers and a card this day. It's just Mother's Day. What's the big deal? Am I really doing anything that wrong? God says, don't envy what they do. Neither desire to be with them. Don't desire to be with people that sin against God. That's why Christ said that if you're struggling with something, right, if your left hand or if your right hand offends you, cut it off. There's something that is pulling on you or weighing on you to sin against your God, get rid of it. Say you used to smoke weed in the world and all your boys in the world smoke weed every day. You get with them every Friday night to play basketball, and after they're done, they start smoking weed. They start smoking weed and getting drunk and doing whatever things that go against God. Stop hanging out with those people. Don't desire to hang out with them. Don't desire to be with them. They might lead you or influence you to do something against God. It says in Ecclesiasticus chapter 12, I believe verse 13, that what is the whole duty of man? It's to keep the commandments of God. It's to obey God. Why? Verse 14, because we are going to be judged for everything we do. The Lord is watching everything that you do. The Lord is watching every decision you make. The Lord is watching how you speak to your wife. The Lord is watching how you wives speak to your husband. The Lord is watching how you raise your children. The Lord is watching all of these things. You're not going to get away with celebrating Mother's Day thinking that it's just a light thing. The Lord is watching everything that you do. And you are going to give an account for everything. Christ said that every idle word, the Lord is going to judge you on. Every idle word, everything that you say that you don't think is important. You walk by your neighbor and say good morning, the Lord is going to judge you for that. Everything that comes out of your mouth. So you better believe that the Lord is going to judge you for keeping a feast that he hates, that he despises. So Proverbs 24:1 is trying to give you some wisdom. It's giving you instruction. It's trying to help you live out your life. Be not thou envious against evil men, neither desire to be with them. Let's go to Matthew chapter 15 and verse 9. Matthew chapter 15 and verse 9 says, but in vain they do worship me. Right? We can start at verse 8. It says in Matthew 15 and 8, it says, this people draweth nigh unto me with their mouth. You hear everybody in that Christian church saying, hallelujah, Jesus, I love God. Meanwhile, these brothers are at home abusing their wives, abusing their children, divorcing and throwing away their women, being tyrants inside of their household. And then they go to church on Sunday and say, hallelujah, Jesus. Because these people draweth nigh unto me with their mouth and honoreth me with their lips. It's all lip service. That's why the Bible says, and Christ taught us to not only love in word, but also in deed. How we speak to people matters, and how we act matters. Well, there's a people on earth who speak well, but their heart is far from Christ. Their heart is far from the Most High. They claim to love God, but they were just celebrating Mother's Day on Sunday. They claim to love God and be about God and love Jesus. Meanwhile, they are keeping feasts that man created. They're not keeping the feasts of the Lord. Verse 9 says, but in vain they do worship me. It's vain, it's pointless. You can sit there and you can get on your hands and knees and cry out to God and say, I love you, Jesus. I love you, God. Hallelujah, Jesus. But you're doing it in vain. You're doing it in vain because that's not what God is asking for. God is asking you to change who you are. Change who you are and to keep the commandments of God. Learn from the example that Christ gave us and act like him. It says, but in vain they do worship me, teaching for doctrines the commandments of men. So many people would have you believe that Mother's Day is so important. The only reason you believe that is because of advertising, because of TV, because of commercials, because some business is trying to make money off you. Hallmark is trying to get you to spend money on the cards that they make. The flower shop is trying to make as much money as they can. And they advertise and they push Mother's Day like it's some beautiful thing. But no commandment in the Bible tells you to celebrate Mother's Day. No commandment in the Bible tells you that one day out of the year, every year, to honor your mother. The Bible tells you to do it every day. To honor your father and your mother every day. It says, but in vain they do worship me, teaching for doctrines the commandments of men. Celebrating Mother's Day is vain. It's pointless. It's vanity. It's not important. And if you're out there thinking that you might be doing something good, the Bible tells you otherwise. It says, for the worshiping of idols is the beginning of all evil. You look at humanity today and they've tried to remove God from everything. And the more society tries to remove God, the more corruption that you see. The more evil and pain and sorrow that you see. Look at all the millions of babies that are aborted every year. Look at all the abuse and child abuse going on in the homes. All the sexual deviancy and molestation going on in this earth. Christianity and Islam and Judaism have proven the entire earth that it is full of wickedness. It is full of evil. What does it say in Proverbs? Let me see if I can find that verse. But let's go to Proverbs. Let's see if I can find that verse real quick. How's that verse go? Let me just paraphrase it. I can't remember which verse that says it. But basically it says, let me see if I can pull that up. Yeah, let's go to Proverbs chapter 29 and verse 12. The Bible speaks about how Christianity and Islam and Judaism and all the quote unquote major religions have failed us. Salakia, Proverbs chapter 29. Proverbs chapter 29 and verse 12. Proverbs 29 and 12 says, if a ruler hearken to lies, all his servants are wicked. This is exactly what Judaism, Christianity, and Islam is full of. It's full of lies. So your pastor can sit up there and tell you why you should celebrate Christmas, why you should celebrate Mother's Day, why you should celebrate Easter. Your pastor will sit up there and tell you that you should celebrate these things. Meanwhile, that is a straight lie. It is a lie. God is against Mother's Day. The Lord hates Mother's Day. That's what it says in Amos 5 and 21. All of Christianity is just full of lies. They have you believe that Christ is a white man. Christ looks European with some long, stringy hair and blue eyes. When you read the Bible, you see that Christ was a dark-skinned man. He was a brother from the tribe of Judah. Christianity continues to perpetuate nothing but lies and deceit. Lies about who God is. Tell you that God is all love and loves everybody. And that is nowhere in the Bible. It says the Lord is a man of war. And that the children of Israel are the apple of his eye. It says that the Lord hates evil, hates sin. The Lord hates so many things. The Lord hates Mother's Day. And you think the Lord is with you when you celebrate these holidays. Proverbs 29 and 12 says, if a ruler hearken to lies, all his servants are wicked. You want to know why there's so much wickedness on this earth? It's because people are Christian. People are Muslim. And there are billions of religious people on this earth who are following false gods, who are following false idols, worshiping idols, worshiping their mom and on Mother's Day and her birthday. All of these things are against God. All right. Let's go to one more verse and then I'll get into some more articles. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 13. I believe we start at verse 6. Yeah, this is verse 6. Deuteronomy chapter 13. It says, if thy brother, the son of thy mother, or thy son, or thy daughter, or the wife of thy bosom, or thy friend, which is as thine own soul, entice thee secretly, saying, let us go and serve other gods, which thou hast not known, thou nor thy fathers. If anybody tells you why we should celebrate Mother's Day, if anybody is, on the phone with you, just talking to you one-on-one, trying to entice you and tell you why we should celebrate birthdays and why we should celebrate Christmas. Moses gave us instructions on how we should deal with these people. It says in Jeremiah chapter 10, don't learn the way of the heathen. Don't learn their customs. You got some random European woman in the United States who starts this holiday called Mother's Day. Who cares? What does that have to do with you, Black man, Hispanic man, Native American man? She bought her mother some flowers, or she bought some flowers to put on her unalived mother's coffin. What does that have to do with you? What does that have to do with us as a people? Some woman in Ontario gets together with a group of 10 women, and Canada decides that we're going to make it a national holiday. What does that have to do with us? What is the value in this? King Solomon said so many of these things are vain. They're vain, vanity, vexation of spirit. All these different things that people try to do that go against God. All of it is a waste of time. And it's the beginning of evil on this earth. Verse 7 says, namely, of the gods of the people which are round about you. This is why people celebrating Christmas today. Worshipping different Babylonian gods and deities. Why people are celebrating Easter. Worshipping the Queen of Heaven. Worshipping Zeus and Saturn and whatever other gods that these other nations come up with. Moses is saying specifically the gods of these other nations. Why? Because this is one of the greatest lessons of the Bible, which is not to be like other nations. These other nations are a people without God. They don't know the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. They don't walk with him. They don't know the power that he has. They weren't given the instructions on how to live on this earth. It says in Psalms, I believe 149, verse 19, that these laws, statutes, and commandments were given to the children of Israel, and that the Lord has not dealt so with any other nation. They don't know his judgments. They don't have a relationship with God. And this is why they're able to do all the different things that they do. So Moses said, don't do what these other nations do. Don't live like them. You see all the gods of Egypt. The Lord destroyed all those gods. He mocked those gods. The Lord took the children of Israel out of Egypt and showed those Egyptians that they are powerless against the Most High. It says, namely of the gods of the people which are round about you, nigh unto thee, or far off from thee, even if it's from a nation that you don't know about. You don't know about what they're doing in the Philippines, or you don't know what they're doing in South Asia, some parts in Africa, over in Australia or Russia. You don't know how those people are living. Don't look at their lifestyle like it's something of importance. Don't look at what they do as it's something of importance. But come back to the instructions of the Most High. It says, from the one end of the earth even unto the other end of the earth. Verse 8, thou shalt not consent unto him, nor hearken unto him. Neither shall thine eye pity him, Neither shalt thou spare, neither shalt thou conceal him. Verse 9, but thou shalt surely kill him. Because the Most High wanted to remove all evil out of Israel. This is the spirit that we have to have towards somebody trying to get you to live like these other nations. You understand? Christ said in the New Testament, those that do the will of my Father, those are my mothers, my brother, my sister. That's the spirit that we have to have. We need to look at our family and the people that we keep close and next to us, who are the people who are obeying God, the people who are righteous, the people who have changed their lives. Those are the people that we need to be around. Those are the people that we need to look at as family. You got a sister in the world telling you that we should celebrate Mother's Day. You should separate yourself from that person. You should be mindful of how close and how much influence you let this person have on your life. It should be no influence. Because they're not living a way according to how God wants them to live. They are a bad influence for you. And back in this time in Israel, Moses said, thou shalt surely unalive him. Take that person's life so that we can remove any evil outside of this nation. Yeah. Let's drop that and let's get into, I got some videos that I'm going to share. Matter of fact, let me read this article really quick and then I'll show a quick video. These are some of the things going on in today's society. Okay, this is an article from Yahoo. It says, there's outrage over nearly new drag show for moms and babies. Call it abhorrent. There's an organization called Cabaret. They're the organizers of these drag shows. Okay, this is from Yahoo News. It says, Cabaret organizers have defended their show after video of scantily clad drag artists dancing for parents and infants prompted furious viewers to call for the act to be banned. The footage was taken at a show by Baba Rave, so named for being a cabaret baby rave experience, and shows moms clapping along with their babies as one entertainer in thigh-high boots swings from a harness and another performs acrobats and struts around in a G-string. I am not going to show these images because these are some disgusting things that is going on in our nation. Canadian government has no problem with this. The American government has no problem with this. There's no laws against this. There is no laws against, what do they call a drag queen? I'm not sure, Slovakia YouTube, what the correct term is for these people. These people part of the LGBTQ community. But they are allowed to be sexual deviants in front of little children. They're allowed to do it. Now, you can't be quote unquote underage and walk into a strip club in Canada. You can't do it. But for some reason, if you're a part of the LGBTQ community, you can portray yourself to be a stripper, to dance like a stripper, to dress like a stripper in front of little babies. That's what this society is doing. And this is why God said, do not follow a multitude to do evil. It says, viewers have taken issue with the highly sexualized nature of the show, with broadcaster Dominique Samuels describing it as absolutely abhorrent and kicking off a campaign to shut the company down. Currently playing as part of the Vault Festival in Southeast London, Kababa Rave was started by two performers, Lizzie and Gemma, who were seeking entertainment during their maternity leave. The show is branded as a little slice of afternoon delight that provides cabaret interspersed, I'm not sure what that word is, interspersed with captivating baby sensory moments and ends in a rave. In the Vault Festival listing for the show, Lizzie and Gemma say they wanted to create an escape for like-minded moms. There's only so many times you can listen to the effing wheels on the bus, reads the synopsis. We wanted to give parents the experience of a big London night out, cabaret, drinks, and dancing, but one you can bring your baby to and still be home for bedtime. Good night. Now, what happened to the society that had PG-13, that had rated R, that had TV7, that had different ratings to say maybe some things are inappropriate for children? What happened to that society? This is a society that is moving away from things being kid-friendly. This is a society where they have no problems. There was something written in the education system in Canada where they wanted to start teaching oral sex to children as young as grade 1. So your child's going to be in the 2nd grade and know what oral sex is. Your child's going to be in the 5th grade and know what anal sex is. This is in the school systems inside of Canada. They're going to teach your child who's in kindergarten that it's okay for a man to be with a man, and a man can love a man and make a family. This is in the Canadian education system. I know when I was growing up, they didn't start teaching us this stuff inside of school until the 9th grade, where we had a sexual education inside of our gym class or phys ed class that we had to pass and take. And there was a small course that every young man or young teenage child had to take inside of high school. That's going around 20 years ago. 30 years ago, Lord knows what was going on in the school. 40 years, Lord knows what was going on in the school. But I can tell you today that the things that they are teaching children are disgusting. No child needs to know about sex and marriage at a young age. Their mind doesn't need to be focused on those things because they are not ready for marriage. A boy who is 10 years old is not ready to lead and protect a woman. No 10-year-old boy is ready to die for his family. No 10-year-old boy is ready to go to jail for his family and protect his children and protect his wife. Which means no 10-year-old boy needs to be ready for sex. That doesn't need to be on his mind. He can do those things when he is an adult. This drag show has mothers bringing their little children, their little babies, into some very disgusting and disturbing events. Shoot, if it were up to me, I would lock all these women up. All of these women's children would be taken from them. They would not be able to be mothers. They would not be suitable to have children. They would be locked in a cage, and the key would be thrown away. But I can guarantee you, in this society, these mothers yesterday probably all received flowers and cards. They were probably told they're the greatest mothers on earth. This article says, Miss Samuels tweeted the now viral footage, prompting thousands of social media users to accuse Kababa rave artists of grooming children and slamming parents who take their kids to the shows. This is child abuse, tweeted one disgusted viewer. Absolutely sickening. What kind of parent would take their child to that? And these are mothers taking their children, damn near taking their children to a strip club. It says, responding to the social media outcry, Vault organizers defended the cabaret, saying in a statement that it's just fun and it's a welcoming space for parents with young babies. They also called out people for attacking the show's performers, saying, we stand against the inexcusable threats of violence and assault against our programmed artists, our staff, and directed at the LGBTQIA community, and are supporting the affected artists. As if taking your little child has anything to do with the support of these people being threats of violence against them. What does your child have to do with that? I'm going to drop this article, and just know that this is something that the multitudes are doing. This isn't just one case. This is something that is going on and is being pushed in this society. I'm going to play a quick video of some women, of some parents, some mothers who probably just received their Mother's Day gift, and how they're defending their position as to why they took their children to these things. These are not just little babies that are being taken to these shows. All right. Let's check out this video.
Taking their kids along. I'm so glad you went along and asked some of these mums, mainly mothers who are taking their kids along, and let's have a look at some of their answers.
Can I ask you a question? Do you find this to be age appropriate for your children?
Yeah, I mean,
This woman is asked, does she find it age appropriate to take her child to these shows? She says yes.
I'm a little more, I'm not as conservative, but I mean, really, it's not any different than, I mean, Disney, they have similar things.
She says, Disney, they do similar things. In Disney, they do similar things, so it's okay for me to take my child here. God said, do not follow a multitude to do evil. I don't care if Disney Channel, I don't care if BT, I don't care what program is promoting these things. You should not do it. If you are a mother or a father out there with any sense, you should not be following what other people are doing. What somebody else does in their spare time does not define morality. It should not define how you live your life. You should not be following other nations. You're Black, Hispanic, or Native American Indian. Whatever the culture is of Europeans, that is not your culture. God said, be ye therefore holy, because I am holy. Holy means different. Holy means set apart. Don't be like these other nations. You're the children of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. You are the Israelites in the Bible. That is who you descend from. Who cares what the East Indians are doing? Who cares what the Africans are doing? Who cares what the Europeans are doing? That is not your way of life. Isn't that how most of us grew up? In a Black, Hispanic, or Native Indian household? Your parents always tell you not to be like your neighbors. Who cares what little Billy is doing over at his house? Who cares how he's speaking to his parents? I remember growing up seeing all these different nations on how they would cuss out their parents. And I remember thinking, that's crazy. We could never get away with that in our household. God is saying the same thing. Who cares what these other nations are doing? Don't live like them. This woman wants to justify why she takes her child to some sex show. And she says, well, they show it on Disney. Well, if you're Black, Hispanic, or Native American Indian, maybe you shouldn't watch Disney if that is what Disney is playing. Not encourage your child to just do what Disney is doing. Maybe you should shut the TV off.
Like, it's really not that far from it.
I had sex with my father's boss.
This LGBTQ member is on stage dressed up like a sex worker, saying that this person has sex with her father's boss. What does that have to do with the child? That woman you just saw has her little teenage daughter behind her. She's blurred out of the screen because in this society, why are you videotaping a child and putting it out on the internet? Don't we want to protect our children? Shouldn't we be protecting our children? Let's hide her face. Why is the camera hiding her face? Because they realize that she's underage, that she shouldn't be in the spotlight, that she should be protected. Yet it's okay for her to go to this sex show. This LGBTQ member has sex with their father's boss. This is at an all-age drag show. Let's keep going.
In my father's office.
Very honestly, like, I'm
In their father's office? This is an all-age show? You're going to tell your 9-year-old child that somebody's having sex with their father's boss in their office? This is what their society has come to? This is what Esau allows to take place in Canada and in America and in certain parts of Europe,
body positive.
you're going to take your child to a show where somebody in this LGBTQ community is dressed up in some tight latex suit like this with candy canes over their breasts. He just said, it makes me fresh. What are we doing with our children? My child will never see something like this. My household will not follow a multitude to do evil. Nobody in the I.S.U.P.K is going to follow this nonsense because we follow God. Let's hear what another mother has to say about this.
Do you find this to be age appropriate for children?
Do I find this to be age appropriate? For my child, yeah.
This woman says she believes it's age appropriate for her child to go to something like this. We have to be very mindful of the things that we follow and the things that we say are okay. You as a mother are going to sit here and tell yourself, it's just Mother's Day. This is what Anna Jarvis did. This is what all Canadians are doing. Let's just celebrate Mother's Day, buy a flower and a card. What's the big deal? Well, according to God, God says it's a big deal. God says not to live like these other nations. Don't act like them. Don't be like them. Don't follow their way of life. Don't worship their gods and worship their idols. Don't be like them. Be holy. Be different. Don't be like everybody else. These same mothers right here who say, yeah, this is age appropriate for my child. She is a part of that culture who is expecting a mother's gift, a Mother's Day gift. That is what her race of people started. That is what her race of people do. And the Lord wants you to have no part in it.
Hello, you're reaching for my titties. Are you hungry?
Do you mind me asking?
This LGBTQ member says, I'm reaching for my breasts. Are you hungry? What? This is what we're showing to our children? This is what these mothers are showing to their children. These mothers should be put in prison. They should not be given flowers. Every one of these women should have been locked up yesterday. Not given flowers and a card.
How old she is?
She's 12.
12.
This mother right here says, my daughter's 12. Her daughter's 12 and she thinks that this is appropriate.
She knows about sex, and I mean, she doesn't see sex.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she kind of sees simulated sex in the show.
She goes to school. She sees simulated sex all the time.
My daughter goes to school and she sees sexual gestures being done all the time. What's the difference? That's what this mother believes. This mother does not deserve to have children. She doesn't deserve to be a mother. She deserves to sit in a jail cell. And if she truly believes that that is safe and okay for her 12-year-old daughter to be a part of, to partake in and watch, encouraged to see, and shown that that way of life is normal and okay and safe. That is what her household does. And I'm encouraging you, Black man, Hispanic man, Native American man, to have nothing to do with this culture. I'm going to let the video play one more time.
Trying to prove, Rita, with my organization, Defend Our Kids Texas, is that we are trying to prove the point that there are laws already on the books that should be protecting children from these events. Unfortunately, lawmakers didn't have the foresight to think that they would have to include things like drag queen shows in all of these laws protecting children from being sexualized. So now we're seeing the ramifications of that. But our point in going in and getting this footage and showing people, how is this any different from taking your child to a strip club? As you mentioned, it's not any different. And unfortunately, we are living in a time where the LGBTQ community seems to be exempt from all of these ramifications, from the consequences of sexualizing children. And that is what my organization aims to stop.
Well, even talking about this, even showing the footage that you've got from these events, you get crazy attacks from the activist class who just deny this is happening, that deny that there's content there that isn't suitable for children. But I've got to say, whenever I see these videos, my first thought is why? And then my next thought is, what sort of parent chooses to take their child along to see that? And I'm so glad you went along and asked some of these mums, mainly mothers who are taking their kids along. And let's have a look at some of their answers.
Can I ask you a question? Do you find this to be age appropriate for your children?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little more, I'm not as conservative, but I mean, really, it's not any different than, I mean, Disney, they have similar things. Like, it's really not that far from it.
I had sex with my father's boss in my father's office.
Very, honestly, like, I'm body positive.
Minty fresh.
Do you find this to be age appropriate for children?
Do I find this to be
Yeah.
age appropriate? For my child, yeah.
Hello, you're reaching for my titties. Are you hungry?
Do you mind me asking how old she is?
She's 12.
12.
She knows about sex, and I mean, she doesn't see sex.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she kind of sees simulated sex in the show.
She goes to school. She sees simulated sex all the time.
That's their culture. That's the society. You understand? And I encourage you, Black man, Hispanic man, Native American man, to come out of that culture. Come out of their way of life. Christ said, be in the world, but not of the world. Don't live like these other people are living. Who cares what all these people are around you doing? Have no part in it. You understand? Don't follow Mother's Day. Don't be a mother who is like that, who shows these different things as being okay for their children. There's a lot of mothers out there who are not deserving of a Mother's Day gift. You understand? A lot of them. Matter of fact, let me show one more quick video. We're over the time. Supposed to stop at 7. We'll do one more quick video and then I'll end the class. You understand? This is their culture. You love to think that you would have this society would have you think that this is how Black people are and how Black people act. All these women out here twerking and shaking their butts and X, Y, and Z, just being over-sexualized and teaching their kids to be that way too. This is the culture of Europeans. They think dancing and shaking their butt on a little baby is cute and funny. They think it's a joke. That's how they view sex. They don't take sex seriously. When God said sex is marriage, God says that sex is what binds you with your spouse. You lay down with a sister, that she's yours and she's yours for life. And what you do behind closed doors in that bedroom is undefiled. That's just between you and your spouse. That's not for the world to see. They're terrible fathers and they're terrible mothers for it. They don't deserve a Mother's Day gift. They don't deserve to be worshipped. They don't deserve to be celebrated. Not on their birthday, not on Mother's Day, not any day out of the year. God said, honor your father and your mother. And that's what Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans need to do. Okay, so with that, I'm going to end Monday night's history class. The water for tuning in. Shalom, Yahbashim Yashabakathum to all the brothers. Shalom, Yahweh Shamar, all the thumb, Bahashim Yahushai to the sisters. We'll be live again next Monday from 5 till 7 p.m. All right. Make sure you check out our law class this Wednesday. Okay, I believe it starts at 7. Goes from 7 till 9 p.m. Check out our law class. And make sure you come to our scripture class tomorrow, Tuesday night. Okay, Tuesday night, from I believe 6 till 8 p.m. No, slack it, from 7 till 9 p.m. Tuesday night. Okay, you can find us in I.S.U.P.K Detroit. Okay, check us out on Facebook, YouTube. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, all of our content. All right, with that, I'm going to say shalom.